education, employment, accessibility, independent living, and political participation, innovative practices, and innovative policies. A network of civil society.
If you see me, take me just the way I am. We can change the world because we understand. If we both are part of the same society, I could be me. Zero barriers, zero walls, zero borders, zero bombs, zero limits. By reaching our aim, zero project, the dignity of man.
If you give me chances and take me by the hand, if you let me grow and if you let me be, if we all gave up our partiality, then I could be free.
Zero barriers, zero walls, zero borders, zero bombs, zero limits. Reaching our end, zero project, dignity of men. Innovative practices and innovative policies. A network of civil
It is fantastic to be here physically for the 2022 awards ceremony. And can I just say, what an incredible 2 days it has been. The Zero Project magic, just everywhere. And I think one of the things that when we came back into this room, those of us who are lucky enough to be here, and that magic that connects out as we speak online, there is a magic in Zero. And I think if we could put it down to one thing, it's actually about love. And it's about really wanting to be part of something so much bigger than ourselves individually and our individual organizations. It's connection. And actually, again, it's the energizing hope and belief that we will make change real. And it will happen. But I also want to acknowledge today how much we appreciate those of you who are here being in the room. It has been a very emotional 2 days for those of us who are here, learning how to come back into the world again. Our hearts are big and open. We're exhausted and energized and hopeful and emotional. And you know what? Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring on the hearts that are open. Bring on the emotion, because this matters. It's personal. To every single person in this room, this work is personal. It comes from our heart, whether we have a lived experience of disability or an ally, a family member, a friend. It matters. So let that emotion come out today. And I know you're tired, but sit back in your chairs if you're online or here and just give those hearts for this moment of recognition of 76 award winners this year, 42 who are with us, the rest who are online. And I know we're at the end of a day, but this is their moment. Everybody wins. But just for today, let's give them the chance to reflect on what they have achieved and what they have made happen. Now, as with Zero and everything with pandemic, we've had to kind of wriggle around our agenda. That was why my opening was a little bit long. So what was going to happen is going to have a very quick turnaround. So we are going to begin by bringing up our father, Martin Essl, to tell us why these awards are so important to all of us and for you to get that moment, because you're back here in this room, to the Zero Project 2000 and 2022 awardees, Martin Essl.
Thank you, Caroline, for this warm welcome. Good evening, everybody. I think before we can start, we should think about the devastating situation in Ukraine. Many kids and persons with disabilities and women and human beings will suffer. And therefore, I would like to stop and to wait a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very emotional Zero Project conference, the 9th in our history in this building, and I'm so happy that it could be possible. Because of Corona, last year we were invited by the CEO of Bank Austria, Unicredit. Thank you so much, Mr. Zadrazil, for joining us also today. And we have had an online conference. And instead of the conference, the AIDS conference in 2020, soon before the coronavirus broke down or changed the whole society in the world, we have had 830 attendees from 90 countries here in Austria, in Vienna, and we were celebrating in the Austrian Houses of Parliament, 250 persons. We have celebrated our conference in the UN here in this building, and nothing happened. There were no illness, and therefore we were very, very happy and felt blessed that nothing happened. But it was extremely pushy for us, because we had to change our system. We had to change our thoughts how to create a conference in 2021, and therefore we decided to create this online. But before, we had to implement a database, a new database, and implement a digitalization. We never have thought that within this short period of time it would have been possible. But thanks to God and the very ambitious efforts of the team and of the whole community of the Zero Project Network, which contains today 9,000 experts with and without disabilities and organizations from 180 countries, it was possible to organize this conference 1 year ago with 10,000 viewers. Thank you so much for that. And now is a very new situation, and we love this situation because we see now the opportunity for a new normality, and we decided to create another concept of the conference, which is hybrid. We started yesterday in the Houses of Parliament, presenting for the very first time 5 innovations together with parliamentarians from all parties which exists in the Austrian Parliament. And we have had 200 people in the großen Redutensaal. This is the plenary room nowadays for the Austrian Parliament, but also 700 viewers yesterday and 200 other viewers from today. With other words, we have had 1,100 visitors for this event. Thank you so much for being with us. And we were invited to be at the Houses of Philanthropy of Parliament, for the next year in a new renovated and accessible building. The old building of the Austrian Parliament is refurbished for a period of, I think, 3 years with an enormous amount of money. And the president of the Parliament, he was very pushy to realize a real accessible Parliament. And he asked me to have the start point of the next year's conference in the new renovative, accessible building of the Austrian Parliament. Isn't that fantastic? Ladies and gentlemen, our next year we will have another topic that means independent living, political participation, ICT solutions, and inclusive arts. Very interesting topics, and we will fill up the new parliament with the Society of Persons with Disability from Austria and abroad. And I'm looking forward to make this happen. Now some information about this year's conference, which is hybrid. It's very unusual. The room is even twice the size than normal, with just 40% of the attendees staying with us. This is a big challenge for Caroline, but she does a brilliant job, and thank you so much for that. But there are thousands of persons from all over the world listening to us, and this motivates us. Thank you for being with us, and for especially our awardees. About 50% of our awardees had no chance to be in Austria. But we will do our best to celebrate you and your efforts here in Vienna, and I hope that your heart will be open and you will like the event we will celebrate together with you over the screen. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for coming at this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had many new ideas we realized for the very first time. For example, our ambassador circle. Last year, Robin, a colleague of mine, Robin Weiss, had a brilliant idea to involve ambassadors from other countries to discuss together with us and the community how to make society more inclusive. And therefore, I'm very happy and thankful that we have now 6 founding members from different countries who are part of the ambassador circle so far, and another 10 or so who are thinking about that, are interested to learn more about this. And I'm convinced that next year we will have at least 10 to 20 ambassadors with the goal to support our community, the Zero Project Innovation Network, to find new innovative solutions, innovative practices and policies, but also to help us to spread new ideas, to get inspired and give feedback with the most important innovations which can be fulfilled in their countries, so that the leverage effect will be much broader than in the past. And thank you so much for this effort and your commitment to support the Zero Project initiative, and especially the fulfillment of the UN CRPD. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will celebrate our innovators. We, with other words, we got about around 400 nominations for accessibility and for ICT solutions, and about 1,000 experts with and without disabilities and organizations selected in 3 loops from 381 nominations to 76 nominations from 35 countries who are here with us today to present their special innovation. This is not done by just the team of 12 people of the Zero Project itself, but by 1,000 experts from all over the world. That means that this award is a real important award you are receiving, and I want to personally congratulate you, and you are on the right path in leading us to an inclusive world. Thank you for that effort. Besides these activities, I also want just to mention the impact transfer activities we raised about 5 years ago. So far, some 50 innovators were supported by Ashoka and by our friends of Fondation Descoubreme and mentors to be prepared for expansion of their innovation. And this is an amazing approach we are facing, and there are 40 alumni and 10 further new impact transfer fellows we want to support to help them to spread out throughout the world. And thank you so much for all the activities and so many helping hands who made this possible. Before I finish, I would like to say thank you at first to my friend Caroline. She is our moderator from the very first year, from the very first beginning. Thank you so much for your passion, your strength, your motivation. She's a kind of cheerleader, and she suffered the most, I think, because we are not too many people, and you are used that we are all in one room and all cheerleading together with you. But you are doing a great job, and I hope, and I'm convinced that this also comes over the screen, also to you wherever you are in the world. And then I would also like to thank Michael and the Zero Project team for your big efforts, and you are doing such an amazing job. And every year we have new ideas how to support in a special way and in a stronger way than before. But we could not do this without our network, which contains of 9,000 experts. And you are the power, and you are those guys whom we want to say thank you. And this is your evening, and I'm now very happy to celebrate together with you the awards ceremony. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Martin. Come on, give it a big round of applause for the Zero team, this incredible team of people, to all of you, to the nominations and to the awardees. But I am now going to ask Michael Fembeck. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Yoo-hoo! Michael Fembeck. Okay, so we are ready to begin. How we're going to do this is in 4 batches. We are going to award 19 awardees at one go. 4 will not be in the room. Then we will have a group of 10 who are physically here, and then we'll go back to a further 4 to 5 who are online. So, to make this process lovely, fluid, and easy, Michael and, where are you gone? Seriously, there you are, Michael. And Martin are going to come here, and we are going to, as you can see to the right, and those of you cannot, we will be having our physically present awardees come in stage right, have their photograph taken, and leave stage left. And as we do that, we will be playing a video of each of these awardees so that we will make this swift, because Wilfried has abandoned me and doesn't want to do the award ceremony with me anymore. Right, Wilfried? Okay, so let's go.
Congratulations to Mahasarakam University Home for Life program from Thailand. This 3-day training is designed for people involved in planning and implementing home modifications for people with physical disabilities. As multidisciplinary teams with at least 5 different members, they will be introduced to accessibility principles. In 2021, a Train the Trainer program was also launched. Congratulations to INSI Radio La Radio Incluyente from Colombia. La Radio Incluyente is a radio station in Colombia with programs targeted towards the blind and visually impaired. The government-financed station has 30,000 Spanish-speaking listeners in almost 100 countries. Congratulations to Suarez A11YID from Indonesia. A11YID is an online community of digital product developers and people with disabilities, initiated by the NGO Suarez from Indonesia. In addition to providing exchanges on the topic of digital accessibility, the initiative also reviews websites, apps, and more. These are shared under the hashtag Tantangan Accesibilitas. Congratulations to the Urban Mobility Club from Romania. The Urban Mobility Club, initiated in Bucharest, is a pan-European community that promotes the inclusion of people with disabilities in the urban life through workshops and other activities. In addition to people with disabilities, representatives of the real estate sector and the administration are encouraged to participate. Congratulations to the ADZ program from the United Kingdom. The ADZ program of UK's NGO Cafe is an FM radio channel within a stadium broadcasting an audio descriptive comment of the game. More than 100 commentators in 30 countries have been trained. Congratulations to Northern Uganda Hip Hop Culture from Uganda. Northern Uganda Hip Hop Culture's Forum Theatre addresses challenges faced by people with disabilities in Uganda, such as land grabs, denial of their rights, divorce, and uses audience interaction to explore solutions together. The concept of forum theatre can be easily adapted to different types of issues. Congratulations to World Vision WASH program from Iraq. WASH, an accessible water, sanitation, and hygiene program, has been implemented by World Vision in Iraq since 2016 with 2 local DPO partners. These identify needs, plan, and manage construction and reconstruction work, and carry out information activities for the population. Congratulations to Mais Diferenças from Brazil. Mais Diferenças has developed Livros em Múltiplos Formatos Acessíveis, an audiovisual software that converts books into a range of accessible formats, including Brazilian Sign Language. Complementing this, the NGO Mais Diferenças from Brazil offers training and organizes inclusive readings for people with and without disabilities. Congratulations to Park for This from Spain. Park for This is a free EU-wide web app that locates accessible parking spaces. Launched by the NGO Asociación de Personas con Movilidad Reducida from Spain, it is financed through subscriptions, sold to municipalities, but also to tourist boards and shopping centers. Congratulations to Enosh Nofesh program from Israel. Nofesh offers recreational experiences for people with psychosocial disabilities in Israel, from one-day tours to 5-day vacations, developed by the NGO Enosh. The offer includes comprehensive support and accompaniment. During the COVID pandemic, virtual tours and lectures were offered. Congratulations to Sightsavers, Accessibility Standards and Audit Pack from the United Kingdom. The Accessibility Standards and Audit Pack was launched by the international NGO to Sightsavers to assess the accessibility of healthcare facilities and to implement structural measures. The toolkit is freely available online and is currently used in Bangladesh and several countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Congratulations to Samphia Foundation Therapy on Wheels from India. Therapy on Wheels is a mobile therapy for children initiated by the Indian NGO Samphia Foundation. It consists of a team who travel from village to village in an accessible bus to provide services in India's mountainous regions. The bus is equipped with therapeutic tools and technology. Congratulations to King Abdulaziz University Higher Education for All from Saudi Arabia. The Higher Education for All program was introduced in 2014 at King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to provide equal access to higher education for people with disabilities. Measures include adaptations to the built environment, curriculums, books, and the admissions process. In 2020, the university had over 1,000 students with disabilities. Congratulations to World Vision Zambia Water Sanitation and Hygiene from Zambia.
Hi, my name is Mebin Ngambi. I'm the Technical Program Manager for World Vision Zambia, working for the WASH program. I'm so excited for the Innovation Award that has been given to World Vision as an organization working on disability issues, which is our core business, in making sure that we are serving the vulnerable communities where we are working. And it's so exciting that we'll be able to raise awareness with the award that you've provided to us. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to JDC Israel Unlimited, the accessible legal service from Israel.
Colleagues and friends around the world, we're so thrilled to be honored with the Zero Project Award for innovative practices and policies on accessibility. I'd like to thank our partners in the Israeli Ministry of Justice and Elwyn Israel for the work we're doing together to make legal services accessible for people with disabilities. We're so proud to raise awareness for this important issue. Thank you, the Zero Project, for your recognition and support.
Congratulations to Asociación Tiflonexos Biblioteca Tiflolibros from Argentina. Biblioteca Tiflolibros is a digital library for visually impaired people in the Spanish-speaking world. It was launched by the NGO Asociación Tiflonexos from Argentina. Since its launch in 2001 until 2021, more than 65,000 accessible books have been made available free of charge. Congratulations for Travel for All online guide from Australia.
Hello, Dale Reardon here from Travel for All in Australia. We are obviously part of the Zero Project finalists and very interested in applying for this impact transfer program, as we would love to expand our business internationally to help disabled people worldwide take advantage of travel and tourism opportunities. And we look forward to possibly working with you.
Congratulations to Ethiopian Center for Disability and Development from Ethiopia. Ethiopian Center for Disability and Development launched Minch in 2021. The interactive voice response phone platform provides toll-free audio information or text messages on disability-related topics in the Ethiopian national language. Minch works via cell phone and without the need for an internet connection. Congratulations to Government of South Australia Online Accessibility Toolkit from Australia.
Hi, my name is Dr. Eva Balanov-Milk. I'm the Government Chief Information Officer for SA Government. And on behalf of the Government of South Australia, I would like to say how deeply privileged we are to be awarded this globally prestigious prize and recognition of our online accessibility toolkit. I would like to thank all of the supporters and all of the representatives who take part in improving accessibility for our community worldwide. And thank you again on behalf of the Government of South Australia and my team. Thank you.
Now, gentlemen, you can sit down for a little while because we have a great conversation coming. Okay, first of all, thank you for making the round of applause heard for all of our first round of awardees. Yeah, come on, let's just give them all a big woohoo! I like it. Thank you, Access Israel. That's the way we do it here in Zero. We lift the roof. Now, for those of you who want to boast about your friends and your projects and even yourself, remember #ZeroCon22. I was one of the 1,000 people who were peer reviewing these awardees, and can I tell you, it was a very tough competition. So can I just say this was peer reviewed, and that's what makes it so important. So huge congratulations. Now, I am delighted to have our little break for a conversation with somebody that we owe a huge amount to, and even more so this year. Unicredit Bank Austria have been with the Zero Project from the very beginning. Actually, they've been one of the founders of our family, an incredibly important part of making the Zero Project happen and allowing us to build and grow over the 12 years that we have done this. I am delighted to bring onto the stage the CEO, Robert Zadrazil. Am I right? Zadrazil, yes, Zadrazil. And he is also, for somebody like me, it's a great moment for me to meet you again, Robert, because you are one of our valuable 500 CEOs. So this is not only a bank that has a history of commitment around inclusion, but leadership that consistently turns up. You are so very welcome to the stage. Please come and join me.
Thank you, Caroline. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. Now, a lot of people talk about, yeah, but do they really do it? Is it really about action? Is it just words? And I know with your organization, you've been with us from the very beginning, but why do you continue to sponsor? I mean, this is 12 years we've been doing this together. Why have you continued to build and deepen your relationship with us?
I think it's for us, it's very easy. First of all, let's start saying that I'm really proud. You have already mentioned it, but I'm really proud that we have been, since the beginning, a partner of Martin Essl and the Zero Conference. And you mentioned it already, also supporting from the very early stage and in the meanwhile, since years, also such important organizations like the valuable 500. I think for us as a company, it's important to contribute to make the society more inclusive, more barrier-free, and accessibility as we have seen during the day and here, is one of those topics which you can always improve, you can always learn, you see new best practice, and you have mentioned we are working on this topic since years, but we always see new innovation, best practices, other partners who have brilliant ideas, and therefore I think it's definitely worth to be for so long time with you, with Martin Essl, with the Zero project. And I have to say also I'm looking forward by presenting the Financial Inclusion Award in some minutes.
You will that in a minute, but I want, one of the things that's really important is the leadership of Unicredit Bank Austria has not been on one leader, but it's been passed through. It's in the DNA of your business. And I know people are often very suspicious about that, but you've had a long-standing commitment to inclusion and accessibility that goes beyond into decades. Why has that been? I mean, it's not when this became trendy. You've been doing it a long time. Why has Bank Austria been so committed to this? Ahead of a lot, actually.
I think you mentioned it, and this is, of course, I'm proud to be now as a CEO also here, but you mentioned it is a long time, and it's not because of me, it's also because of me, but I have to say, first of all, we have to consider it from a very pragmatic way. So we have, I think, every fifth person in Austria, so that we are talking about 1.4 million or even more, has in a certain way a kind of disability. So that means for us, as one of the, or maybe the biggest financial service provider in Austria, a major employer, that means a huge customer base. And I think we have recognized this quite early. Also was in the beginning, of course, you start, but then you recognize really it's a big customer base. And I think it's also important for us, it's also a source of talent and skills as a major employer here in Austria. And you mentioned it today, our bank is one of the leading financial institution when it comes to inclusion and accessibility. I would say not only in Austria, probably also in continental Europe. And now it comes to the point when you mentioned DNA. I think it's not the CEO or the management team. It's we have started more than 10 years ago to make all our services barrier-free. And this is overall in the bank, everywhere, in many units, many people. Also, of course, we have set up a central disability management team, which steers, coordinates, and supports, but for the time, as a starting point. But now it's everywhere in the bank. And now we have, I would say, the luxury, let me say in that way, that of course we try to improve every year, but it's also to keep the level. It's not easy, because whenever you make something new in the bank, of course, it has to consider as well that you do another step, a positive step also when it comes to accessibility and inclusion.
So in your mind, inclusive business is good business. And this is what the bank has said, because it actually, it witnesses it on the bottom line. It does give you a competitive advantage, and this is what you've always thought. Just before we close, is there any particular accessibility example that you're proud of or that you're ambitious for? Is there anything particularly you go, that is something that's a standout amongst my competitors that you're proud of?
I would say we have learned a lot over the last 10, 15 years, but I think what we have achieved is that all our branches are barrier-free. And this is, of course, for 15% of our customer, the prerequisite to come to our branch. But, and also this is one topic, for 100% of our customer is welcome, because...
Say that again. I love that, because you're saying it's good for 15%, but for 100%.
Yeah, they welcome, they appreciate, because the barrier-free accessibility for elderly people, for people, for parents with their kids.
Exactly.
So it's for everyone good. First. Second, of course, we are able in all our branches to advise our customers in sign language via video, which is also, I think, unique, I have to say. And let me say one product which we are proud of is a special inclusive loan, where for a special purpose, like you have to buy a guided dog, or you have, let me say, for a special home modification. And also, of course, what is important, and it's also here, I have to say, easy language. So our documents, our contracts, of course, it's especially good for people which have maybe learning issues. But we know, especially Vienna, especially Austria, so many people from so many countries, not all are native German, so it's also good for many of our customers. And you mentioned it already, I have to say, we are really striving to make our banking solutions, our banking services, as much as possible barrier-free and accessible for everyone. And probably we have started a little bit in a kind of philanthropic approach that we say, could be. Right. This is not anymore the case. So it's part of our business strategy. And why? You also mentioned this already, because I have to say, to know from 100% of our customers, and this means for all of our customers, to know about their needs, what they, I think it's important to know for our existing, but also for our potential customer. It's a huge customer base. And this, I'm quite convinced, this gives us a competitive advantage in the banking market in Austria.
It does, because you are authentic and real, and you have not just spoken about it, but you've delivered it, and you continue to do action. Now, I'm known as being cheeky, so there's no way I am going to let you walk off the stage without asking a question. Leaders make choices, and those choices create the culture, like in your bank. What would you say to your peers and other business leaders if you just had a moment's advice to give them?
No, I think we are, again, we are proud, consider this, and I think we have also partners in this journey, because again, in the beginning, you know, you start, you are not really confident how much you can do this in terms of advertising, because you know, you're not so used to it. But for the time being, in the discussion with many of those customers, with many of our partners, we got more confident really to say, consider it as a business case, I have to say. Consider it as a huge population where, and I think the tendency is that even more people have a certain way of disability than less. And consider it is, it's unbelievable. So we are also, have to say, one of the few big companies in terms of disabled people in our organization, in all areas, on all levels. And it's unbelievable how much we, in terms of source of skills and talent, we get also from these colleagues. And I can also say, start, continue, improve. It's because it's a continuous improvement, I have to say, but it is a big benefit for yourself, for all of your customers, but for the overall organization.
Can I just say that is an authentic, real business leader, an inclusive business leader. Can we just give Robert a huge round of applause for being not only a great sponsor, but a great business leader for this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Stay there. There is nothing better when you get a CEO to speak and who's done the real work. So I want to say a huge thank you. But not only have they been Unicredit Bank Austria being our sponsor and our partner since our inception. However, you have also gone one up again this year and have sponsored the Financial Inclusion Award. I mean, you just keep giving, and please do keep giving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my partner in crime, Wilfried, to come up here, who was the chief organizer of the selection committee around this award. Wilfried, do you want to make the announcement and explain a little bit about the process, because it was a very competitive process.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, the Financial Inclusion Award, as part of the strategy of the Zero project, is to bring more project really to life and to spread it and to scale them. And financial inclusion, I think everybody in this room and beyond agrees, is a very important step for self-determination. And we had the idea of matching the innovations which we can select with a partner who can implement. And we are very grateful that we found this with Bank Austria. And we had the jury process, we had the long list and the short list. And I would like to thank the jurors, Anton from Bank Austria, Klaus Miesenberger from the Johannes Kepler University in Linz, Klaus Höckner from the Hilfsgemeinschaft, and last but not least, Wolfgang Kovac from myAbility. And we have selected one winner, which I'm very happy and proud to announce. The company is an old NGO, 20 years old, but a very new and interesting product. It's Atempo with the Capito app. Paul, would you please step forward? Paul, congratulations. This is the award. Yep. We have 30 seconds for your thank you notes.
Oh, thank you very much. 30 seconds, yeah. I'm gonna be fast, but hopefully good to understand. Adempo was founded by Klaus Kandussi and Walburga Fröhlich 21 years ago, so special thanks to them. They give the warmest regards to all of you. They're sorry that they cannot make it this time, so that's why you have to do with me. And the last thing I would like to say, we will not stop at this moment. We're very thankful for this award, but we will make our services even better in the future, and we will always improve our services to the highest level that we can do. So thank you, and enjoy the evening.
Could I ask you, Martin, could you come on stage, please, for the picture? Could you? Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. You're taking over my job, Wilfried, yeah? Do you miss doing the co-hosting with me in the awards, yeah? Come back. Come on, Wilfried. Where's the crunch? Start singing there. Thank you, Wilfried. Thank you, everybody. And Robert, thank you so much. Huge thank you. Take care. Okay, so we're on to round 2. How are we feeling? Come on, let's get it on. Okay, I wish they'd let me do some music. Okay, so we've got the second round. Please, Martin, lovely Martin, and Michael. Thank you very much. So we're going to do round 2. Now, we have choices. We can clap after every one, or if you don't want to, we can clap right in the end and give a roar. But here we go, round 2.
Congratulations to Kota Kita from Indonesia. Kota Kita, an NGO from Solo City, Indonesia, documents persons with disabilities in 2 cities in real time using a geo-tapping app. Kota Kita is supported by UNESCO and services community officials to better understand the needs of the community. Congratulations to Jan Vikas Samiti, Project Sambhav from India. Sambhav uses a web portal and smartphones to support facilitators in providing e-health-based support for rural children with developmental disabilities. The technology was developed by the NGO Jan Vikas Samiti in northern India. Congratulations to Plena Inclusión España, Planeta Fácil from Spain. Planeta Fácil is a Spanish online news site for people with intellectual disabilities. It offers news in easy language, includes blogs, and an audio-visual program. Launched in 2017, Planeta Fácil counted more than 500,000 visits in 2021 and is broadcasted by local TV stations. In addition, the launch of its own TV channel was planned. Congratulations to Young Power in Social Action from Bangladesh. The Inclusive University Initiative of the NGO YPSA is an e-learning center for accessible learning materials and volunteer support for students with visual impairments at the University of Chittagong in Bangladesh. Launched in 2019, there were 5 projects at other universities in 2021 and a plan for an online self-study. Congratulations to CBM Disaster Relief Program from Vietnam. The Disability Inclusive Risk Reduction Program was initiated by CBM, an international NGO in the Ngo Can district, Vietnam. It implements construction and other measures, such as self-help forums and evacuation trainings, to improve the access of people with disabilities to disaster response and shelter during the rainy season. Congratulations to Light for the World, Accessible Agriculture from Cambodia. Initiated by Light for the World, an international NGO, the Accessible Agriculture Project is assisting farmers with disabilities and older persons to participate in farming through the development of personalized assistive technology, adapting processes such as water transportation and mushroom growing. Congratulations to Tucumán University from Argentina. Argentina's Universidad Nacional de Tucumán has offered an elective course on accessibility and universal design for students in the Faculty of Architecture and Urbanism. The accessible courses are led by people with and without disabilities, using, for example, audio description, subtitling, image description, and materials in accessible formats. Congratulations to Access Israel, Accessible Emergency Services from Israel. Accessible Emergency Services was launched by Access Israel, a leading NGO to provide healthcare providers with guidance and videos for interacting, both remotely and in person, with COVID-19 patients with disabilities. The program has already expanded to other emergency services and vital service organizations. Congratulations to Access Israel Accessibility Testing and Evaluation from Israel. Access Israel, a leading NGO, trains people with different disabilities to act as mystery shoppers to covertly assess the level of accessibility and usability of services. Businesses pay for the service to improve the services, and many use it regularly. By 2021, testing teams completed more than 300 assessments. Congratulations to ACT Services Universal Design in Outdoor Parks from the United States.
I was honored to work on the award-winning Gathering Place, an example of accessibility and inclusion for everyone, but also a standard that can be used throughout the world.
Congratulations to INTER, Fighting Isolation During the Pandemic from Belgium. The Belgian NGO INTER has developed measures to address the isolation of people with disabilities during the pandemic. These include guidelines for social distancing and accessibility of vaccination centers, as well as the online platform Circuit Sortie, which brings together both people with and without disabilities for activities in small groups. Congratulations to SNPET, Central de Intermediação em Libras app from Brazil. Central de Intermediação em Libras, SIL, is a free service for the hearing impaired offered by the city administration of São Paulo. Via an app, users can communicate with municipal civil servants and emergency services personnel in Brazilian Sign Language for free and also without affecting their data download limit. Congratulations to the Nordic Welfare Center from Sweden. The Nordic Welfare Centers program, named Future of Working Life, identifies and provides solutions in 18 technology areas that have the potential to improve the situation of people with disabilities in the labor market. The main target groups are employers, employees, and experts in the open labor market. Congratulations to Rochester Institute Deafway program from the United States. Thomas Dean Sarchet, RIT/NTID is a proud Zero Project 2021 awardee. Chris Kurtz, WAY promotes sign language and print literacy for deaf children around the world. Congratulations to Fundación RS, Hiking Without Limits from Chile. Hiking Without Limits program was initiated in Chile in 2015 to ensure that hiking and natural areas can be used by people with disabilities. The program includes training professionals, self-assessment tools, improvement plans, and single-wheel transport vehicles. Congratulations to Puspa di Bali Accessible Housing from Indonesia. Puspa di Bali operates a housing project for people with physical disabilities living in poverty. The houses are built after an individual evaluation and in collaboration with the Faculty of Architecture at Dharmadeva University in Bali and Journeyman International, an NGO focusing on architectural services in a humanitarian context. Congratulations to Government of Canada Accessible Canada Act from Canada. ACA, the Accessible Canada Act, was passed in 2019 and aims to make Canada accessible by 2040. The ACA applies to all government departments, federally regulated agencies, and parts of the private sector, such as banking, telecommunication, and transportation. Congratulations to Senadis, Preparados para Incluir from Chile. Senadis, the National Disability Service of Chile, launched an online accessibility training called Preparados para Incluir that offered 3 courses centered around accessibility, its legal framework, general principles, and access to ICT. Congratulations to CDD, the Inclusive Rohingya Response from Bangladesh. The Inclusive Rohingya Response was launched by the Center for Disability in Development, a leading NGO in Bangladesh. It identifies inaccessible facilities in refugee camps of the Rohingya people and modifies them with locally available materials, provides training for staff members, and rehabilitation services for people with disabilities.
And that closes the second round. Gentlemen, will you take your seat, please? Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, we have a very special guest who is dialing in from the US. I would urge you to look at her TED Talk. When I went to look at her TED Talk, I was like, oh, a person who loads labels. So Sara Minkara is many, many things and has achieved a huge amount. We will only have her with us for 5 minutes because of our delay, but currently She is the US Special Advisor on International Disability Rights appointed by President Biden. This young woman has a very important role in the next few years. But that is not all that Sara has done. I urge you to go look at her talks online, see what she has done. She is that generation that is literally pulling the barriers down, one by one. So Sara, are you there? Can you, and oh, you are there. Hi, how are you?
Oh,
so you and I can't see each other. Can we all give a round of applause for Sara? Hiya. So Sara, I'm also registered blind, visually impaired, so I can only say that I can see lots of color behind you. I think I can see the American flag, and I want to say a massive congratulations for your appointment. It is some extraordinary achievement. I wanted to ask you probably a question that every single one of us who is so passionate about ending disability exclusion, and you have a very unique role. What do you hope to achieve, or what are the areas that you're working on over the next few years? What are going to be your highlights when you exit this role that you feel that you have done a good job in? Come on, share the change.
Thank you. First of all, Caroline, thank you so much. It's so wonderful to virtually meet you, and I'm honored to be with you all back with Zero Conference. This is my second time. I wish I was there in person, but thank you for your warm welcome. So to answer your question, what are we hoping to achieve in the next years as the U.S. Special Advisor on International Disability Rights? I want to start off with a statement that is really guiding our work, which is the inclusion of all values. The inclusion of persons with disability is a value for us, right? And the value perspective is really the aspect that we're giving into that we're. Of course, from an overarching kind of view, we're committed on advancing the rights of persons with disability across the globe. But we are bringing forward the value and making sure that it's not just the right thing to do. When we don't include persons with disability, we lose out on value and potential. And from personal, that took me a really long time to come out. Because as persons with disabilities, you feel sometimes we're an add-on to the system. Where, when we're asking for accommodations and accessibility, we feel sometimes we're a burden. Yes, there is too, but we internalize that. And we really internalize some of the people. But I remember one time it was a powerful kind of situation where we're in a room of 100 students. Everyone had their name cards, so everyone can really be able to access the class. I remember in the beginning of the semester saying, can you guys please say your name when you speak, because it's going to allow me to access the class better. And the professor was like, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? He's like, the way you phrase it is that by them making the classroom accessible to you, they're doing you a favor. But it's the other way around. By making the classroom accessible to you, you're able to participate, contribute, and they're benefiting from your contribution. And for me, internally, that was a huge shift in terms of how I looked at inclusion of persons with disability. And that is what we are doing with our work in the State Department. So a few kind of overarching goals. One is, we're focusing on fostering accountability and building capacity across the globe, whether that's through technical assistance, bilateral dialogues, public diplomacy, roundtables, etc. The second, which is really important to the Biden administration, which is promoting disability inclusive democracy. Democracy cannot be achieved if we're not including everyone. And the democracy commitment is so important to the Biden administration. And we want to make sure that disability inclusive element is part of that conversation. Because you know what, it's not only that we should be accessing voting rights, etc., but we need to be part of the conversation. We need to be sitting at the table. We need to be part of making policy and change, etc. So we need to really be focusing on disability inclusive democracy. Third is advancing human rights. Especially we're focusing on countries of crisis, conflict, and disaster. We know what's happening right now. And in those moments with, countries of crisis, persons with disabilities are double and triple and quadruply marginalized. And how do we make sure that we are streamlining disability into the response, how we respond, into our humanitarian aid, into the negotiation and peace process, that we're part of that conversation, and into the post aspect, the rebuilding aspect. That, again, it's not just let's make sure we're taking care of and we're bringing the rights of persons with disabilities, but let's make sure we actually bring their value and their voices into this process. And then fourth, which is what I was mentioning earlier, is disrupting the narrative surrounding disability, moving from a charity-based perspective to a value-based perspective. And how do we bring that forward globally, but how do we also bring that forward internally within the administration? So everyone is thinking about disability as they're working on women and gender conversations and works, as they're working on health issues, employment, labor, foreign policy. Disability is a value for our foreign policy, and we cannot be achieving prosperity and security if we don't include disability. Just a few kind of how we're hoping to do this, something that the values that are driving our work is, one is we need to be having difficult conversation, right? We cannot be achieving the change and disrupting the status quo if we don't really have these difficult conversations. We need to be building capacity. We need to also be creating shared responsibility. So it's not just on us, persons with disability, thinking about disability inclusion, it's everyone thinking about it. And we need to be mobilizing expertise, the best practices, partnerships, and resources. So I'm gonna stop here, but I also wanna just end something that I always tell the team, my team and everyone, is that we all have the power within us to make that change, whether individually as an individual, but as an organization, as a team, and beyond.
Sara, yeah, can I just say, I think I can see hands waving in the room, but I think there's something, I can guarantee that's our friends from Access Israel waving hands over there. But can I just say, you have huge ambitions, and thank you for the role that you are taking in making this happen. Can you just end on, we've just been awarding 76 people this year, and that's on top of all the years who are innovating in this space, whether it's in policies or practices or within governments or business. Can you give any advice, or what do you need from all of us to work together to help us all achieve what it is that we're trying to achieve? Whether it's not just on people with disabilities to be part of the solutions, but everybody to be accountable and to integrate and normalize disability across society. What can you say to our awardees, and what can we do to help you and each other?
Amazing. Thank you, Caroline. Just a couple of things. One is, I know this work is hard. It's hard. It can be emotionally difficult at times and draining. It can be tough. Sometimes you're talking to someone and they're not getting it. It's difficult. And I think first on an individual level, we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. But we need to be having these difficult conversations, especially outside of the disability community. We need to be really be focusing on the narrative. I always say, what is the narrative that's existing in our system? And what is the narrative surrounding disability? And if we don't understand what is the narrative that we are bringing forward and what is the narrative that's impacting us, we'll never be able to achieve full disability inclusion. That's the reality. But in order for us to really have and understand the narrative, we need to be having this difficult conversation. So creating that space for authenticity and people bringing their true voice, because I know ultimately some people might not know, or they're afraid of not saying the right phrasing, or they're afraid of, or they're not. It's something that unfamiliar to them. But we need to be reaching out to communities that have not been allies yet, but really making sure that ultimately every single person out there needs to be an ally. Second, I would say, is that curiosity through a lens of compassion. In order for us to really have these difficult conversations, we need to be curious towards others, but through a compassionate lens, to really understand where they're coming from. And how do we bring the conversation closer? And also curiosity through a lens of compassion towards ourselves, and understand ourselves through this journey as we move forward. Because again, this work is difficult, and we might be internalized, and I've internalized, for instance, some of these narratives, and it's a journey. And then third, I say, again, we all have the power within us to be creating that change and truly believing it. Finally, find a support system, find people you can lean on. So as you're doing the hard work, you're able to go to them for that support and keep on doing that amazing work, because it's tough and it's difficult. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Caroline.
Sara, thank you so much. I hope that we will see you here with your Zero Project family, maybe next year. Thank you for your compassion, your curiosity, for having the difficult conversations, for ripping off the labels, for pushing so hard, and for leading. We will welcome you here hopefully next year. A huge round of applause, please, for Sara. Take care, have a good day, and we wish you all the love from Austria.
Thank you, Caroline. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Wow. Okay, now we're around. Oh, you're already here. You've learned. Okay, Michael, Martin, here we go. Round 3, please.
Congratulations to Transport for London Disability Advisory Group from the United Kingdom. The Independent Disability Advisory Group advises Transport for London, the main provider of public transport in London, in identifying and addressing issues and barriers to accessing public transport. In 2020, the 10 members of the group acted as consultants on 53 projects, such as reconstruction of train stations. Congratulations to Ministry of Development Accessibility Plus from Poland.
The Polish Governmental Accessibility Plus program is unique. This is the first time when accessibility becomes an important issue in all public policies in our country. We take accessibility-related actions in many sectors.
Congratulations to Escola da Gente Vemsa Accessible Culture app from Brazil. Vemsa is a free and accessible phone app developed by the Brazilian NGO Escola da Gente that informs users where and when accessible events are taking place. The app covers hundreds of events every year and allows users to search by 12 accessible features and in 24 event categories. Congratulations to Curitiba City Hall Conversation in Libras from Brazil. To support the dissemination of Brazilian Sign Language Libras, the city of Curitiba launched the Conversation in Libras program, offering weekly face-to-face meetings in its public space that improve the interaction and communication in Libras. Congratulations to Tactile Studios Inclusive and Multisensory Pathways from France. Tactile Studio designs accessible experiences for museums and other cultural institutions aimed at people with visual impairments. This is done by combining digital and multisensory elements. From 2015 and 2021, projects have been implemented in more than 130 cultural institutions, including 32 multisensory trails. Congratulations to Essl Inclusion from the United Kingdom. London-based Essl Inclusion, a digital accessibility consultancy, created the Digital Accessibility Maturity Scorecard as a tool for companies to assess how well they perform regarding digital accessibility along 9 dimensions. Congratulations to Eli Lilly, Access Lilly from the United States. The Access Lilly program was initiated in 2020 by the multinational pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly to establish and implement a disability-friendly corporate culture throughout the company. The initial 4 work areas, like accessibility, ICT, and communications, were expanded to include human resources and procurement. Congratulations to Transportes Metropolitanos de Barcelona from Spain. Transportes Metropolitanos de Barcelona used the 2021 renewal of its vehicle fleet to improve the accessibility of its underground train service. Measures include wider automatic doors, acoustic warning lights, intercom located at an optimum height for wheelchair users, emergency handles, and color contrast signage. Congratulations to LKA Railway Accessibility in Lodz from Poland. LKA, the railroad company of the Lodz region in Poland, launched a comprehensive accessibility program, including online sign language interpreters and induction loops on trains. Other rail companies are following suit, and representatives of the LKA are involved in developing national guidelines. Congratulations to VoiceIt speech recognition app from Israel. VoiceIt is an app that uses AI to recognize the speech patterns of its users and enables people with speech disabilities to communicate in their own voice and directly with others. The app, developed by a startup company from Israel, uses artificial intelligence components to continuously improve its automated speech recognition capabilities. Congratulations to Österreichische Post Accessible Pickup Stations from Austria. Österreichische Post, Austria's leading logistics and postal service provider, introduced an accessible pickup service for blind customers in 2019 for items that cannot be delivered to their homes. In 2020, the service was extended to all 479 pickup stations in the country. Congratulations to iHarp Association, iHarp from Spain. The iHarp Association started in 2011 in Barcelona under the auspices of the Pompeu Fabra University, which has developed iHarp, a digital musical instrument controlled by eye and head movements. Musicians can play melodies by looking at the notes on the screen. iHarp has a freemium business model with a free basic version. Congratulations to Signé de Sang La Bulle Elix from France. Elix Dictionary was developed by the French NGO Signé de Sang. It is a bilingual video dictionary in French Sign Language. With free extension for web browsers, Elix Bubble users can access Elix Dictionary by right-clicking on a word without leaving the website. Congratulations to Blue Badge Style Access from the United Kingdom.
The team at Blue Badge Style are thrilled to receive this award for our access galleries that enable disabled people to go out and enjoy life, a freedom that should be shared.
Congratulations to the U.S. Department of Labor e-Policy Works from the United States. The U.S. Department of Labor's e-Policy Works is a virtual town hall. Through an accessible online crowdsourcing tool, anyone can participate in national dialogues on employment and disability issues, a model that has already been adopted by other U.S. agencies. Congratulations to Istanbul Airport IGA Cares from Turkey. IGA Cares is an Istanbul airport program that includes measures and services for people with disabilities. Services include a navigation app, info kiosks in sign language, or a map that gives people who are particularly sensitive to noise access to quiet spaces. From 2019 to 2021, 1.5 million people have used IGA Cares. Congratulations to Safaricom, Diversity and Inclusion Program from Kenya. Safaricom, a major mobile network operator from Kenya, committed to achieving a 5% share of people with disabilities in its workforce by 2025. As part of the company's Diversity and Inclusion Program, offices and sales outlets are being made barrier-free and products and services are being made more accessible. Congratulations to Globe Media Globe for All from Russia. Globeforall.net is a barrier-free information and booking platform for tourists with special needs in Russia, as well as for representatives of the tourism industry who lack the knowledge to adapt to tourists with disabilities. Besides, Globe for All trains people with disabilities to become tourist guides. Congratulations to Emphasis Limited, BIREC Social Impact Investing from India. Emphasis Limited has launched BIREC Social Alpha Quest for Assistive Technologies, an incubator program for startups in India working on assistive technologies and innovative solutions for people with disabilities. In 2019, 14 startups were selected to receive free incubation support, direct funding, and mentoring.
Okay, gentlemen, back to your seats, just for one last time. I don't know how everybody's feeling energetically, but when you sit and you listen to the different countries, to the different awardees, and to the different projects and initiatives, and I know our brains are full, but it is extraordinary when you see all of that coming together and the power of that change. Martin referred to the opening of this year's Zero conference in the Austrian Parliament, and it was an extraordinary afternoon, I believe, with over 200 attendees there. Now, the President of the Austrian Parliament really wanted to be with us today, this evening, but instead he has sent a very short video, so we're nearly there, everyone, a very short video purely because his commitment to the Zero project and for Austria to be inclusive is very, very real. So please just give a moment's attention to Wolfgang Sobotka, the President of the Austrian Parliament.
Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, sehr geehrte Botschafterinnen und Botschafter, werte Konferenzteilnehmerinnen und Konferenzteilnehmer, insbesondere geschätzte Preisträgerinnen und Preisträger der Zero Project Konferenz 2022. In den vergangenen Jahren war es mir immer eine große Freude, Teil der Zero Project Konferenz zu sein. Heute ist mir das leider nur in digitaler Form möglich, da zur gleichen Zeit der österreichische Nationalrat tagt. Ich hatte die Ehre, einige von Ihnen bereits am Dienstag bei der Kick-Off-Veranstaltung der Zero Project Konferenz im Parlament kennenzulernen. Wie auch in den Jahren zuvor wurden als Einstimmung auf die Konferenz 5 Initiativen im Hohen Haus präsentiert. Ziel der Auftaktveranstaltung ist es, Bewusstsein für die Notwendigkeit für den Abbau von Barrieren in dieser unserer Welt zu schaffen und zugleich mögliche spannende Lösungen der Awardees anzubieten. Heuer wurde die Initiative zum ersten Mal gemeinsam mit den Initiatoren und jeweils einem Abgeordneten vorgestellt, um die Mandatare mit den vielen großartigen Ideen vertraut zu machen. Nächstes Jahr wird es eine abermalige Erweiterung geben. Alle Initiativen werden von Innovatoren und Abgeordneten, aber auch von Vertretern der Wirtschaft, also den Umsetzern der hervorragenden Ideen vorgestellt. Aber nicht nur die Auftaktveranstaltung und das Zero Project entwickeln sich ständig weiter, auch das historische Parlamentsgebäude am Ring wird bald in neuem Glanz erstrahlen und im Herbst öffnen wir ein barrierefreies Parlament und nähern uns damit dem Ziel, volle Teilhabe für alle Bürgerinnen und Bürger zu ermöglichen. Im Rahmen der Sanierungsarbeiten haben wir zahlreiche inklusive Maßnahmen umgesetzt. Teilweise wurden wir dabei auch von früheren Ideen der Zero Project Konferenz inspiriert. Ich lade Sie heute schon herzlich dazu ein, diese Maßnahmen im wiedereröffneten Parlament dann selbst zu erleben. Bereits jetzt möchte ich Ihnen Beispiele für die physische Barrierefreiheit im sanierten Haus zeigen. Beim Umbau des Parlaments wurde Inklusion und Barrierefreiheit in jeder Planungs- und Bauphase mitgedacht. Dies erfolgte gemeinsam mit externen Sachverständigen, die zum Teil selbst mit einer Behinderung leben. So wurden zum Beispiel alle Barrieren, die durch Höhenunterschiede entstehen, durch Rampen und Hebebühnen abgebaut. Die Türen wurden im Sinne der Mobilität mit einer Öffnungsunterstützung ausgestattet. Um Barrieren für Menschen mit Sehbehinderung abzubauen, ist auf eine hohe Kontrastierung und die durchgängige Verwendung taktiler Schriften geachtet worden. Auch um das Hohe Haus physisch erlebbar zu machen, befindet sich ein taktiles Gebäudemodell im Besucherzentrum. Die Vermittlung akustischer Informationen wird durch induktive Höranlagen in den Sitzungsräumlichkeiten erleichtert. Außerdem werden alle Informationen in leicht verständlicher Art und Weise im Mehrsinneprinzip vermittelt, allen voran im neuen Besucherzentrum. Dabei wurden nicht nur die gesetzlichen Mussbestimmungen erfüllt, sondern auch zahlreiche freiwillige Erweiterungen realisiert. Ich freue mich bereits darauf, Ihnen all diese inklusiven Maßnahmen bei der Auftaktveranstaltung zur Zero Project Konferenz 2023 vor Ort im wiedereröffneten Haus am Ring präsentieren zu dürfen. Zu guter Letzt möchte ich Ihnen allen dafür danken, dass Sie sich für eine inklusive Welt so engagieren. Mein besonderer Dank richtet sich an die Essl Foundation und das gesamte Team des Zero Projects. Außerdem möchte ich allen Preisträgerinnen und Preisträgern ganz herzlich gratulieren. Jedes einzelne ihrer Projekte ist ein wichtiger Beitrag zum Abbau von Barrieren. In diesem Sinne wünsche ich Ihnen weiterhin eine erfolgreiche und ergebnisreiche Konferenz.
Okay. Okay. Now hold on just for 2 seconds. We're just going to take a moment to see what that was. So I just want to say the last words that he said was huge congratulations to the awardees, to the huge engagement that we have. And as Michael and Martin walk to the stage, isn't that just an example? No matter what great intentions we all have to make everything perfect, we were supposed to have English captioning on that, and I believe that it wasn't there. But it just shows you that we have to constantly keep learning and trying, and as long as the intention is there, and forgive the mistakes that are made. But the second thing that really occurs to me is, how privileged am I that I get to have this conference in my first language, English. And can I just say, I need to acknowledge everybody who comes to this conference when English is maybe their second or third language, and for the huge amount of work that you have to do in concentrating and focusing. I just want to say thank you to you, because it is really hard, and that is inclusion as well. So we just need to acknowledge that. Okay, we're on the home run, people. Okay, this is round 4.
Congratulations to Emphasis, Uber Assist and Uber Access from India. The Indian IT group Emphasis developed 2 services joining forces with the taxi service Uber to make the services more accessible and finance their implementation. Uber Assist offers passengers assistance from trained driver partners, and Uber Access offers retrofitted wheelchair-accessible vehicles. Congratulations to Good Goody Inclusive Play Areas for Children from India. Good Goody is a product and space design studio based in Tain, India, that designs and builds inclusive playgrounds for children with disabilities, while also providing a range of indoor and outdoor playground products. The concept includes play elements such as large drums, but also maintenance of existing playgrounds. Congratulations to ATOS, Global Accessibility and Digital Inclusion from the United Kingdom. With its global accessibility and digital inclusion strategy, the global IT service provider ATOS introduced a policy for accessibility and digital inclusion back in 2010, covering more than 70 country offices. Its measures focus not only on internal areas, but also on the entire supply chain. Congratulations to Flex Limited, the corporate barrier-free program from China. Flex Zhuhai is the Chinese subsidiary of Flex Limited, a leading electronics contract manufacturer. In 2015, Flex Zhuhai implemented an accessibility program, including accessible hiring practices and an internship program. By 2021, the number of employees with disabilities had increased from 13 to more than 200. Congratulations to Okayama Broadcasting from Japan. Sign Language Talks Welfare is a regional monthly TV program in Japan with sign language interpretation, provided by Okayama Broadcasting. It informs the deaf community and is produced mainly by deaf people themselves. Launched in 1993, the program is financed entirely by advertising and does not need subsidies. Congratulations to Facility Website Adaptation Tools from France. Facility, a startup company from France, launched its website adaptation tool for companies. The tool allows for a large set of adaptations, such as larger characters as well as enlarged click zones or reading aids. Congratulations to App in Town Companion from Spain. The App in Town Companion allows people with reduced mobility to autonomously use public transportation. The app was developed by the company Mass Factory Urban Accessible Mobility from Barcelona and includes route planning, personalized guidance, and assistance. Congratulations to Munevo Drive from Germany. Munevo Drive is a hands-free wheelchair control system that makes it possible to control a wheelchair with head movements using smart glasses. The glasses can be connected to any wheelchair via a small adapter. It was launched in Germany by the technology company Munevo. Congratulations to the Waymap orientation app from the United Kingdom. Waymap, an IT startup company from the United Kingdom, enables visually impaired people to orient themselves indoors and outdoors with a location accuracy of 1 meter. It is aimed at public transport operators who offer their services free of charge to customers with disabilities. Congratulations to Global Symbols CIC from the United Kingdom. Global Symbols, an NGO from the United Kingdom, provides graphic symbols for assistive and alternative forms of communication, as well as online tools for their use, but also for creating your own symbols. The offer is free and open source. In 2021, more than 5,000 people used Global Symbols, and a training program was developed with UNICEF. Congratulations to Fundación Sense Swisswal from Spain. Swisswal is a free 24-hour video interpreting service that allows deaf people to communicate with hearing people, launched by Fundación Sense and the National Association of the Deaf. Users communicate through the service via sign language, and lip reading and text chat are also available. Congratulations to Cash Reader from Czech Republic. Cash Reader is an app available on iOS or Android phones that identifies banknote values for almost every currency globally. Users point their smartphone's camera at the banknote and the app informs them of the value, either using speech or vibration patterns, which provides more security in public spaces. Congratulations to Be My Eyes app from Denmark. Be My Eyes, a Danish startup company with headquarters in San Francisco, California, introduced a free app that connects blind and low vision people with sighted volunteers. The app consists of a two-way audio and one-way video feed that allows the sighted volunteer to be the eyes of the blind user. Congratulations to Subreader app from Denmark. Subreader reads out subtitles of movies and TV series aloud or into earphones. The app, developed by a startup company from Denmark, is available in more than 40 languages and uses artificial voices that automatically synchronize with the soundtrack. Parts of the app are free, while streaming services are for a fee. Congratulations to Plena Inclusión Madrid, Diccionario Fácil from Spain. Diccionario Fácil is a free online Spanish dictionary service developed by Plena Inclusión Madrid, an NGO based in Spain. It provides definitions according to the easy reading guidelines, validated by people with intellectual disabilities, and also providing employment opportunities for them. Congratulations to Benetech GCA Publisher Certification Program from the United States. Benetech is a leading provider of a digital library system. As another project, it launched the Global Certified Accessible Certification, which not only validates the accessibility of individual ebooks, but certifies the entire workflow of publishers and supports everyone involved in the production of digital books. Congratulations to Beeline Reader app from the United States. Beeline Reader, a free web browser extension developed in the United States, makes text more readable on a screen, with each line starting with one color and slowly changing to a second color. The following line that starts again with the same color. This continuity supports visual tracking. Congratulations to Sedeti La Mesita app from Chile. La Mesita is a free app that supports the reading development of children, especially those with Down syndrome. Users can select a specific environment, such as a fair or an amusement park. La Mesita adapts to the user's characteristics and allows for an endless number of activities. Congratulations to City of Zagreb, the Accessible Zagreb online service from Croatia. Accessible Zagreb is a web/app service of the City of Zagreb from Croatia that provides detailed information about accessibility and the respective accessibility features of public facilities and streets, as well as real-time information about public transport. Accessible Zagreb is available in Croatian, English, and German.
Okay, hot off the press, hot off the press. We have completely screwed up again, so sorry. Can we please give a round of applause for Claudia from Munevo, who missed his video, please? Please, round of applause for him. Yes, please, please, please give him a round of applause. Okay, what should we do with you?
No, she just takes the picture afterwards. Just close it and we'll make the picture afterwards.
Okay, so now, my gorgeous humans, we are at the end of our award ceremony, and as that final photograph has been taken, I'd like to say, despite us starting 10 minutes late, we are going to finish by 8 o'clock. However, I have one more request of you. We are going to get a group photo. Now, this year, it's not going to be the mosh-up here on the stage. We got to do it differently because of the pandemic. So we're going to try and capture you all sitting down, okay? That means everybody needs to stay in their seat. They need to put their mask on. If they have, I think you all have your mask on anyway. Me, I will put my mask on, and we just have to beam through our eyes. We have to schmize, okay? Smile with your eyes, and we're going to sit in the seat. Now, the other thing that you need to know is, for any of you still in Vienna tomorrow, Bank Austria are hosting a reception. Come with us in the evening time. And for any of you who happen to want to join me on my own, tomorrow morning, I will open this room at 9 o'clock. Please, please come and join us. And very lastly, very lastly, there is one gentleman we do need to give a round of applause. He's been hiding behind the camera, and that is my partner in crime for the greatest award ceremony on the earth, Wilfried. Where are you, Wilfried? Please give him a round of applause. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Give old Wilfried a good old applause. So it's time for you to go get that beer, probably lie down and crash and go to sleep. But I just want to say, remember how important it is. I keep talking about we're all like little lights on a string of fairy lights that go around the Christmas tree. When you add up all of these innovations and all the energy, that is when we become an unstoppable force. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I know you're exhausted, but really thank you for all the claps, all the energy. Now schmize through the eyes. What do you want?
Another special moment for Iris.
Oh, okay. 2 seconds. Yeah. Another special moment for Iris. Okay, everybody, round of applause.
There was another mess up, so we have to...
Okay, there was a mess up. You see, the great thing is, when you mess up, you need to take responsibility. Accountability for our mess up. Round 2. Yes, come on, you get to have 2. We didn't mean it, so sorry. Okay. Sorry. Everybody sit on, schmize in the eyes, masks on. Let's get us out of this room by 8 o'clock. Photographer is coming in. Where's our photographer? Photographer. Okay. Oh, and we have another. Somebody is missing a cell phone. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone missing a cell phone? It actually feels very light. Do you think it might be Mr. Roberts' cell phone? Okay, well, I'll take it. But anyway, I have it. Okay, are we ready for the photograph, everyone? Okay, masks on. Martin? It's actually quite difficult. Okay, everybody in? Have you got everybody needing? Do you need the...
Good evening. Test. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The people from the edges, please come to the center. So, if you're outside of the picture and over there too. Okay, this is okay. And yes, you're okay. You're okay. The lady in pink is okay too. Okay. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Thank you for being so cooperative. That's it, love it. This is the closest we're going to get to each other. Wonderful. Now, if we could have this room looking like this tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'd be thrilled. Okay. One moment. Hold on.
Wheelchairs may come over there, just in front.
Any wheelchair user who would like to come to the front, we would love to have you. Hello, welcome. Anybody else who would like to come to the front? I'm going to kneel here. I'm going to sit down. Have we got everybody? I was wondering where you were. Are you sketting out down the back? Come on. Anybody else who'd like to come sit up in the front? I'm going to sit with these handsome gentlemen and this lovely lady. Excellent. Okay, are we good? Are we ready to go? Ready. Okay, everybody. Remember, schmize with the eyes.
Turn around. No, it's okay. Look at me.
Thank you, everybody. Officially, it's time to go eat.